Keeping It Real with Kenny.
Hello everyone, how are you today? Welcome back to the number 4 episode of Keeping It Real with Kenny, Adeyemo. And thank you for allowing me into your home today again. For those that are joining us for the first time, I am Pastor Kenny Adeyemo, one of the pastors at the Sanctuary of the Holy Spirit. So we're here on this podcast, Keeping It Real with Kenny Adeyemo. And if you think God has given you a gift out there and you want to share it with the world to make it a better place, please contact me on the numbers and emails showing on the screen. On that note, we are going to be rounding up all our wealth creation finances. The third one we had was finances in marriages. And on this topic, which is a 4th episode now, we will be rounding the whole thing up. Okay? On that note, please join me as we welcome Mrs. Okwe John.
Thank you very much for having me. Such a privilege.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming on to this podcast for today. And this is the 2nd episode you'll be having with us. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've not watched the 3rd episode, she was on the 3rd episode and we discussed about finances and marriages. So Mrs. Okwe John, she's a qualified accountant. And we talked about having a joint account in marriages. So you can imagine having a qualified accountant with a joint account with her husband. Most people don't like marrying accountants because they would give account for every kobo they spend, and they tend to believe accountants are stingy, but I don't believe that. But luckily, Mrs. Okwe John is married as a qualified accountant, and I believe that joint account will not have any problem because every account will be given, isn't it, for every kobo or penny spent. Am I right?
Well, just to one fun fact about me that you don't know is I'm actually married to an accountant. My husband's a chartered accountant as well. And
having 2 qualified accountants with a joint account. Hey, viewers now, judge.
Okay, there's a few myths. The reality is there's a few myths about being an accountant.
Okay.
One of it being just because you're an accountant, it means you're very good at managing your personal finances.
Okay.
It's not always true. You find sometimes accountants are not always the best at managing their own personal money.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not always the case. But with us, it's in with my husband, because we're both accountants. My husband leaves me to do a lot of the administrative and the financial planning and stuff. So we'll talk about it every month or, every other month. We'll sit down and talk about our finances. But I'm the one responsible for writing things down. And obviously, maybe at the start of the year, we'll write down what our plans are for the year and stuff. But it's a myth.
It's not as bad as I thought.
No, it's not. And I promise you, not all accountants are stingy. I am a spender. I keep saying I'm an accountant, but I'm a spender.
Okay. Viewers, you've heard it. They're not as bad as we thought, though. So accountants are good people and they're spenders. Like my sister here, she's a good spender. From when you were talking about it just now, I now realize it actually brings bond between the spouses, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It connections and you get closer because you discuss things. Communication is a very good key in this topic that you've just said now. Yeah. Because I realize if you don't communicate with each other and, you know what's going on, you discuss things ahead.
Exactly. And I feel like, at the end of the day, I think the last episode covers a lot of this marriage and money stuff. But just to round it up here, I mean, the most important thing is to be transparent, open and honest with each other. And the reason why is because, forget that, there's even any trust issues. It's the fact that, we feel we're building together. We're doing this together,
And it's fun, actually.
Exactly. It's fun. We both have a clear picture of what we're working towards. So it's really important to just keep speaking about it. And the more you speak about it, you're more driven to work towards it. And the more it becomes your reality. So
Thank you so much. So viewers out there, we've heard that. And let's work towards that, okay? And how do we know and achieve what we are meant to be? Say, for example, you've been given, you just thought, it looks like photography would be a good business. Maybe I should just go for that. So how do you know that's the right one? How do you know what you're meant to be? How do you know what business to go dabble into?
So I think, it's all important. It starts with knowing your purpose. If you and how you find your purpose in life. I always say, for me, I've always found that purpose. Some people would find it really early and they know precisely what they're going to be, who they're going to be. I know some people would say from a very young age, I want to become a medical doctor, and they've seen that through, and it became clear to them. But not everybody finds it out in just that one moment. A lot of times God allows us to go on a journey of discovery of purpose. But I think it's very important when we don't understand our purpose, we will keep chasing after money, the next business that we think would make us millionaires, or the next career, that path that we think, oh my God, I could earn a lot more if I were in IT or in whatever
Project management,
whatever the field is, But when you know your purpose, then you stick to it, and you stick to your own God-chosen path for you. So I think it starts with going on your knees to seek God.
To seek God for direction.
And
not just dabble. Don't run other people's race.
Exactly.
Don't do other people's work. Go on your knees and ask God.
Direction.
God, what is my purpose in life? Why have you created me? What will I do that would make me succeed effortlessly? There's some things you do when God gives you direction. Effortlessly, you just find that He just wanted you to start, and you see that the things you need are already in place.
Yes, they are.
And it's going to be a smooth journey.
It's funny you say this, because I remembered a sermon a vicar preached, and it really changed me, and it even changed my mindset as well about what I do. He said, you've got to take a step back and ask, what is the purpose in what I'm doing? I'm an accountant. Is my job just to add up numbers and make sure that a business is profitable? No, it's not. It's beyond that. Actually, my job is to make sure that I'm responsible for helping the business make decisions that impact so many people's lives. The business employs X number of people. Families are depending on that income. So I have a responsibility. A lot of these families that I do not know, what I'm doing is impacting their lives, because I've got to make decisions that guide the business to make the right decisions that impact them. If I'm helping people get paid, I'm making sure that at the end of the month, I'm making sure that I'm calculating their payroll correctly so that people can get paid and no one is left hungry, no one is left without money in their account. It's figuring out what the purpose is in what I'm doing. And if you're solving a problem, if you're giving a solution to a problem, it changes the dynamics of things. You're not running after money, you're running after purpose. For me, knowing that I've gone to bed at night, making decisions that can guide the business, I know that they can actually create more employment and help more people get into work and help more families.
So you're
impacting
lives.
Impacting lives. Not in the most obvious way, not like a doctor's, impacting lives, but in my own little way, what I'm doing is actually impacting lives.
With it.
And I'm happy with
You're
that.
Happy.
We're creating more jobs. We're making decisions that can help fund things like that.
Okay. So viewers out there, it's not about getting into a job and gossip, trying to make things difficult for people. Your attitude, some people, the attitude alone, discourages a lot of people. The work you're doing, am I impacting life? Am I changing lives? Am I encouraging another soul out there? So people, please, whenever you're making decisions, please make sure you're impacting lives out there, just like what Mrs. John just said just now.
It's finding the purpose in everything you're doing. The purpose. Why am I here? What am I doing here? How is what I'm doing changing somebody else's life? It keeps
bringing
you going.
them down or lifting them up?
It's lifting people. And it keeps you going, because if you will keep churning jobs if you keep running after money. You'll be changing jobs every year.
Every year. Okay, thank you for that. What are the setbacks from achieving your goals? Because, some people, they've not even started and they've started seeing setbacks already. Me, if I want to go into that business, well, there's no customer. Who will I sell to? I can't even get cash for it. They've not even started already. And they've seen all the mistakes already.
That's down to, I find there are different kinds of people.
And that's very common with us.
It's very common. The different kinds of people, some, even amongst your friends, your siblings, your partner, you'd figure out the kind of spectrum they sit on. You find some people are very positive. When you share an idea with them, they're so excited. Oh my God, they will give you a buzz and they'll tell you, go for it. I believe it can be the next big thing. There's some people, when you tell them what you want to do, what they find, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is everything that could go wrong with that idea. It tells you that some people are just wired that way. Some people are naturally pessimistic. Some people are more optimistic. Then you find that people who, when they find out what they want to do, they spend so much time analyzing and waiting for a perfect situation before they start. And they're the people who, they don't plan, they know what they want to do, and they just go head in. There is no right or wrong, to be honest. You need a balance of everything. But I find one of the first things that stops people is mindset. Our mindset. I was having a conversation with one of my brothers, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing this, and I was saying to him, hypothetically speaking, I was saying, a lot of us pray, God, I want to, I want this kind of life, I want to make a difference in the world, show me, I know I'm sitting on this idea, I want to birth this idea to life. And I said to him, I said, if God were to send you the help you need, do you have something that person that's sent to help you would fund? A lot of times what's standing between us and our dreams is, money. We focus so much on not having money. But I believe that my God owns 1,000 cattle upon a hill. And I believe that every single finance I need for everything that God has sent me to do is available for me. It's whether or not I believe God enough for God to connect me with the right people that I need to meet. And when I meet those people, I need to come correct. I need to have my plans ready. If you were to talk to them, what do you have to share with them? A lot of times, many of us are not ready. Because we keep thinking, well, I don't know where I will find that kind of money from. So we don't even bother.
That's a very good point, Opeyemi. Because when you say God has given you a talent, I'll use someone I know for as an example. Very good at cooking. But I'll be like, you've got very good hands. I want me no onje. That's what they call
hands.
Gifted hands is what they call them. Thank you. And I'll be like, why don't you start cooking? You could start with maybe a foriro, vegetables, put in a small bowl, take a picture of it. Social media is there. Take a picture of it, put it on Instagram, social media. You do this, you do that. You start from there. You start getting orders.
Yeah, exactly.
But my sister is waiting for a big restaurant where she could start. You start small. Rome was not built in a day.
Exactly. There's also that as well. I agree with you. You can start small. Actually, I read the story of, I won't say because this is airing online, but I read the story of a very successful Nigerian restaurant chain in the UK. And apparently they started from cooking for people in their churches.
You see?
And the business has grown. I mean, if you live in the UK, you know who they are. I mean, you probably know who I'm talking about. The business has grown. And I mean, thumbs up to them. They built a successful business. But they started just by cooking and coming to sell to people in the church. Because, I mean, naturally on Sundays after church, no one really wants to go and cook.
That's true, though.
People are hungry. And if there's food there, people would easily buy it. If it's good quality food, people will keep buying. The product speaks for itself. The service speaks for itself as long as you're delivering quality to people. And you're solving a problem. We go back to the solution.
Exactly.
You're being a solution.
Talking about that, years back, I know of someone. She was gifted. She does cakes. And the Holy Spirit ministered to that person That's feed my people on every Thanksgiving Sunday. So
Mm.
Thanksgiving Sunday, she bakes. She only just started. She bakes. She wasn't even thinking of the money, but she followed the instruction.
Yeah.
So she started baking. She baked, cut in a tray, and give to people on their way out on every Thanksgiving Sunday. Listen to these, viewers. As time goes on, people eat it, they love it.
Yeah.
And members started asking questions. Please, I'll be having my birthday the next month.
Yeah.
The person that bakes that cake that we ate the other day, can I have that person's details? I need her to bring a cake to church for me on so date because it's my birthday. That was how she started her business. She never had the idea of starting a business, but God used, because she was attentive and she listened and she obeyed, and God used that medium to start her business for her.
And she started from
And she started, and she's a big time cake maker now. So this is what I'm talking about. You have to use something to get something.
Absolutely.
Because she never thought of the business aspect. She was just doing it for God's people.
Yeah. And and that's what I'm saying. It's if the purpose for which that, it's not just baking cake for the sake of, it's a side hustle, I'm just raising money,
Exactly.
or I'm just using it for quick cash. If you're doing it, you'll be so frustrated. But actually, that person knew that I want to bring joy to people. When people come and celebrate, we use cakes to celebrate. So when people come on Thanksgiving Sunday, this is a way of celebrating. And that is the purpose. I'm joining them in celebrating by doing this. You find it's a solution. There's a purpose behind it. It's not just baking cake because you're trying to make quick cash, There's a difference between the two. And so I'm saying, the foundation of it is really important because that person never thought about money. Money wasn't the issue. If money was the issue, they'd have been frustrated after the second Thanksgiving Sunday.
Definitely.
When no one ordered. Because I'm sure the orders did not start
it
immediately.
didn't start straight away.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So they'd have been frustrated after the second or third Thanksgiving Sunday when no one ordered from them. So it's very important you know why, the purpose behind what you're doing.
Okay.
And I believe in write the vision, make it plain. When you write it down, God starts to give you direction. You find God starts to show you how you can start. With the person that you're talking about, the gifted hands person, I admire people with gifted hands. I always say,
I know.
One of my friends, she does hair. Every time she does my hair, people stop me and ask me. Strangers collect a number from me because she's so gifted with her hands.
I know.
But I always say that when you write things down, God starts to give you ideas on how inspiration. This is the power in writing. But a lot of times, too many of us, we see all the negativity, everything that can't work with it.
What if I do it and I can't pay my bills next month? What if I do it and nobody buys it and it gets spoiled?
Yeah.
What if I do it?
The industry is saturated. There's too many people that do hair. There's too many people that cook already.
Exactly.
Actually.
Because that could discourage you, actually.
Yeah, it can.
A lot of people does here. Well, so if I open my salon, will I sell? Will somebody patronize me? But there's an adage that says, Ojú ọ̀run tẹ́yẹ láì fi ara kanra.
Exactly.
So that means there might be millions of salons out there, but yours will
People
be
you're
distinct.
sent to, they will come to yours.
So we need to dream big.
Dream big, and it's okay to start small. Great things start small.
And also, this is just an encouragement as well. Don't live beyond your means. Don't be who you are not. Don't pretend to be who you are not just to impress people. A lot of people have, dabbled into things they are not meant to, and they find themselves in big time trouble.
But that also comes back to what we're discussing, isn't it? About knowing your purpose. If you know your purpose, if you know what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing, you focus on your own race. You focus on your own journey. The good one of the quotes that was going around social media a few years ago was one person became president at 40 in their 40s. Another became a president at the age of in their 70s. They're all running their own race. They've both lived a successful life.
That's right.
To each their own. If you focus on your own journey, then your life will work out how it's
out.
meant to work out.
Because every one of us, we are all created in a distinct and unique way.
Yeah,
No one can be you because we're all created and wired differently.
absolutely.
So there's no means or any reason for you to jealous anybody or to be envious of anyone because they are running their race. If you have a positive mind, you will run your own race peacefully and God would guide you.
Exactly. When you know who you are, what you're called to be, you focus on, you stay in your lane and you focus on your own journey.
That's right. You know, and when I say don't live beyond your means, I know a lot of people want to live. I'm from Africa, Nigeria to be precise, and I know you are. You know, say for example, people all in the name of living in Lekki. People just want to live there, you know, and a lot of people are living outskirts, you know, and people living in Lekki are in rented apartments, but people living outskirts and in their own property. Did you see what I'm going?
I have my views on that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Let's hear that.
I think.
So for those living in London, I would use an example. People living in London are in rented apartment, but people living outskirts are in their own property.
Yeah. So if you want to live in certain zones in London, you're spending. You're probably going to be spending a couple of thousands of pounds on your rent. If you want to live in zone 1, zone 2, or something, you know, you're going to spend quite a bit on your rent, right? And you'd probably save you probably save about 50% of it if you live on the outskirts. Now, my thing is, right, to each their own. What works for A might not work for B. I know someone who was living specifically about 15-minute walk from their office. And the reason why they did that was, well, they earned really well, number one. So their salary could fund that lifestyle.
Okay.
The rent was very expensive. They're paying at least 3,000. This was a few years ago. They're paying at least £3,000 for their rent then, but their salary could fund it. They didn't spend more than 50% of their earnings on rent and all of their bills in their house. Also, they worked really long hours. So actually commuting to zone 4 just didn't seem sensible. If they're starting work as early as 7 a.m. and finishing around 7 p.m., they just wanted that work-life balance as much as they could. So I think my thinking of it is it depends on your circumstances. It depends,
that's true. From your perspective now, it does depend. Because if it's work-related, then that's understandable. And you still go back home later.
Yeah.
Maybe over the weekends.
Do you know what? One of my aunties, one time, I remember she wanted to move, and she lived in zone 2 in a very good location, and she started looking, and she found that rent would have been a lot more expensive if she kept living in that same zone, and she was being told by friends that, you know, move to areas like Barking and stuff. And I mean, it's not to have a dig at Barking or anything. And I remember my auntie saying to me that I work in zone 1. In zone 2, sorry. And where she lives, it was very easy for her to commute to work. Her kids were in school in that area. She said to me, even if they called the house £5 in Barking, she said, I can't move there. Because, you know, like, it's all about balancing that lifestyle for my kids. Yeah. You know, my kids, I can't just uproot them and just put them in new school. So there was a lot of dynamics to it. But of course, there's also the balance of, you know, there's a lot of people that live this false lifestyle where they're literally spending 70-80% of what they're earning on rent and funding a lifestyle in London because they want to live in a certain postcode or wherever they are. You know, it's reckless. It's very reckless. It's not wise at all.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So we're going to talk about situations whereby you have your wages coming in, 9 to 5 salary, but you deep into it, but it's still not enough. And there's no other money coming from any other source. What do you do in such situations?
I think it's the reality of a lot of people, actually. You know, it comes to a point. You know, I was listening to to episode 1 and episode 2 of Keeping It Real, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Where Chief Colley said, you know, you discipline yourself. You know, you start by saving maybe 10% and increase that to 13%. And if you are in a position where you can do that, by all means, please do that. It's really important. When you get into that discipline, it helps you to build a lifestyle, and it helps you to achieve your dreams, doesn't it? But also there's a scenario which I've seen in the last, I feel for me anyways, in all my adult years, the last few years have been a bit of a shocker. A lot of us are living in, it feels like we're living in unprecedented times, you know. Where mortgage interest rates, some people's mortgages have doubled the last couple of years, you know.
True.
Earnings haven't doubled, you know. This is the reality of a lot of people. And people just aren't, earnings are just not enough. No matter how much you can discipline yourself, you know, there's nowhere to cut from anymore.
You can't cut your mortgage. Your mortgages, it's fixed.
Exactly, it's fixed.
It can't be reduced.
It can't
all
be
the
reduced.
other bills can't be reduced.
Exactly.
They're all necessities.
They're all necessities. So what do you do in such situations? You know, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I would say the solution, I know this sounds very cliched, but honestly, it's the starting point. I think of the widow who had her 2 sons. Her husband died, and her 2 sons were going to be taken away from her because she had no way of paying off her debt. What she did was she turned to God. Let me keep it real.
Yeah,
for me,
go ahead.
I've had to do that so many times. And the reason why you do that is because it's all just overwhelming and confusing, and you just don't know where to go. Do I change jobs because I need to earn X amount more? Or, you know, I've just had to sit there and just ask God, I need your wisdom. And the thing is, only God can really give you the solutions. And God starts to open your eyes to see ideas and solutions. It could be, actually, maybe you can make savings in this place, or maybe you can start this side hustle, or you can put your money in this and it will yield an income that will help fund your lifestyle. Because it's not because you're being wasteful that you found yourself in the situation you're in, but it's just, it's a tough market out there, let's be honest. It's just happened, and life happens to everyone, right? So I think the starting place is actually seeking God's face. On a practical level, another thing I found as well is sometimes you might just need to change your jobs so you can earn more.
Sometimes it might not be easy, because when you think of coming out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
you'll be like, the new job,
Yes.
will I like it? Will they like me? Will I have a terrible manager?
Yes.
Would this work? Would that work?
And sometimes you just need to just earn more. I know someone, you know, I speak to them quite a lot, and I always laugh. They tell me, they set themselves an income target. This is what I plan to earn by the end of 2025. And they're literally firing off applications.
Okay.
And it's not because they're reckless. They're actually very driven. They know what they're working towards. For them, the income is very important, because that income needs to fund the lifestyle that they want, or to fund their dreams, I should say. So they're very, very intentional about it. So it's for some people, you might just need to get a second job, increase your income, if that is the solution.
I love the bit where you said, when nothing is forthcoming, the best thing is just to turn to God. Because, like you said, I'm a living testimony to that. He gives you ideas.
Gives you ideas,
He gives you things you haven't even discovered yourself that could make extra money for you.
Yes.
And you find out that when you obey, when you do it, you know, you'll be amazed. Doors would open.
Literally, honestly, it works.
And you'll be like, why didn't I know this all this while? He said, cast all your burdens onto me and I would give you rest.
So there's a Bible passage, Matthew 6, I think is verse 26, that I absolutely love. And I look back on it every time I start to feel anxious about my finances.
I think that says about, look at the birds in the air. They do not sow nor reap or gather foods into barns, yet Heavenly Father feeds them.
Exactly.
Aren't we more valued than birds?
Exactly. How much more us?
How much more?
So every time I feel anxious and it's just a reminder to just keep going back to God and just praying and asking God. God starts to open your eyes and you start to see ideas. And if the prompting is for you to go out and find a new job, actually, you know, it's time for you to earn more, through your job, then
That's true.
you start to feel that urge and you start to see the signs. God starts to give you signs. But ultimately, you know, like you said, cast all your cares on him.
And he shall
And he cares for you. So he will never let us be put to shame. So it's that reassurance that we have.
cast your burden
Unto Jesus,
for he cares for you. So we've heard that now. If you have any issues, go on your true nails.
Yeah, it's the starting point.
On your true nails. As a virtuous woman, go on your true knees and talk to God. He's there ready to listen to you. He's just waiting for us to make that first move, and he would back us up.
Yeah. So
Thank
no
you
need to sit there feeling anxious about it.
I know.
If you do, and it's natural to feel that way sometimes, just go back to God and pray.
Okay. Thank you so much, Okpe, and God bless you for that. We are going to be looking also at the business aspect of it. I know, when you start a business and you start getting profits on them, most of the time we tend to spend the profit. Yeah, I think there's something they call plowing back of profits. When you reinvesting the profit back into the business.
Invest it back in the business.
So when is the best time to now start spending the profit?
People literally spend all of their profit rather than reinvesting it in the business to grow the business. I remembered reading the Bible passage that changed my mindset on money. It's Ecclesiastes. It says, invest in 6 or 7 different ventures. And the day I read it, felt like scales fell off my eyes because I thought to myself, is this really the Bible? But it is. One of my mentors, the biggest lesson I learned from her was, she said something really profound. She said, when my husband and I started investing, we didn't touch any of the money, any of the proceeds that came from the investment. We lived off our salaries because they were not dependent on that money. And now they're at retirement age and they've been able to reinvest the profit. Now they're finally taking from the from the investment. A lot of times people either spend their profit because that's the only source of income they have, and sometimes it can be big enough for you to live off and reinvest. But you'd find a lot of times people tend to diversify as well. And if you are in a position to work and run a business side by side, I always recommend you do that, because it just means you don't put a lot of pressure on the business. On a business that just started, come on, if you're trying to draw all of the income, that business will never grow.
Collapse, yeah.
It will never grow. So unfortunately, that's where people find themselves. I didn't finish that Bible passage because it says, because you don't know what disaster will come upon the land. I love it in New Living Translation. It is true. You don't know what.
Please say it again.
Because you don't know what disaster will come. You really don't know what will come.
And it's true.
And it is true.
Because no condition is permanent. Today, your employer might say they want to make you redundant. Yeah. You don't blame them for that.
It's been more common in the last few years, actually, redundancies.
Exactly. You need to have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
If not fully, at least halfway.
Something, exactly.
So, because you don't know what could happen in the future. No condition is permanent. So you need to have a backup plan, people.
Exactly.
And this would save you really good. Okay, so what is your final conclusion and or advice to people out there on financial well-being, on wealth creation, on finances and marriages? What's your candid advice?
My final advice is always remember the 3 M's of money. Make money.
Okay.
Manage money.
Okay.
And always multiply. Think of ways to multiply your money. We've touched up on businesses. We've touched up on using your talent and jobs as well. Your 9 to 5 can also be a source of wealth creation. People say it's not. Some people have created wealth from it. It could be, exactly.
If you manage your finances properly.
Yeah, exactly. You can use it as a source. So there's managing your money. Of course, a lot of marriages have issues because money is not being managed properly. Live within your means. We talked about contentment. We've talked about not copying other people or not running somebody else's race. Staying in your own lane. And make money. We've encouraged everyone. Earn a living. make money, go out and work. I don't think anybody should be content with the idea of not working. Of course, women, men can take career breaks to focus and look after children. But it's a career break. Remember that. It's not that you're not going back. You will go back eventually. So you have to make money.
Thank you very much for that. So people out there, you've heard all what our chartered accountant has said today. And on that note, we have come to the end of this topic, our series of financial wealth, finances and marriages, wealth creation. And we've heard loads from the first episode, the second, third, and now the fourth one. And now we're wrapping it up with a little advice Mrs. John has given us today about the 3 M's. Please, let's not just take notes. Let us act on it. Yeah. And thank you very much for coming over.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing your ideas, your expertise, ideas, and all the advices you've given us.
Thank you.
We promise viewers, isn't it, that we'll take note of it and action. You know. So thank you so much. God bless you. And we'll see you some other time.
See you soon.
So viewers out there, over to you now. The ball is in your court. Please let us take note of all what we've heard from Chief Kole and from Mrs. Okwejon. And let's, use them to better our lives. Take note of it. Have series of incomes. Just my candid advice, be independent and do a lot of things that you enjoy doing. So viewers out there, thank you so much for staying with us to the very end. Doers of the words is what God is looking for. And when you have the belief that you can make it, you will go a long way. So thank you so much. We will be uploading another episode very soon. Until then, stay tuned and God bless you.